What's up, running fans, jumping fans, stowing fans, all around athletics fans? Welcome to Talking in Ovals. I'm Alex Cuesta. My partner in crime over there was the guest of honor at the New York City Marathon Legends Dinner this past week. Dave Hyatt, what's going on, brother?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure I was the guest of honor. That was Rod. That was Rod Dixon. But what an honor to be invited there. Thank you, Jeff Benjamin. Thank you, Scott Ryder. The chance to be at that dinner and meet so many legends was absolutely amazing. I'm going to put up now. I got my signed Dave Waddle card. It says to Dave from Dave Waddle. I met Bob Beeman, who also was there. I met Rod Dixon. I met just so many amazing, wonderful people. The dinner was amazing. The tribute show was absolutely astonishing. Like, it was just such a privilege to be there, and then to just and I can't forget one of my favorite people that I met. I was up till 4:00 in the morning in the hotel lobby talking to Matt Centrowitz Sr. and his wife. It was, I mean, what a cool guy that is. That guy's the most down to earth, like real dude that you ever want to meet. He was just an amazing human being. I'm reading his book now, like Father, like Son, and wow, it was just an absolute honor to be there. But I mean, also we had some great things this week. We had my favorite meet of the whole year in the state of New Jersey, the group championships at Homedale Park. And wow,
we'll get to that. But yeah,
I know. But I mean, the things that happened there. I mean, this has been an amazing week for me personally, for the sport. The marathon was ridiculous. It's just funny how, like, you know, the whole world record in the marathon is such, at times, it's such an arbitrary thing because it all depends on what course that day you run on, what the conditions were for that day. Like 2:04 in New York is like breaking 2 in other places. It's just crazy how every course has its own different dynamics. But I am ranting now, but what an amazing week I had. It was just absolutely astonishing.
Dave, I love the rant, and I love it because we haven't even really started the show yet, which makes it even better. So today, this episode 63, Monday, November 7th is when we're recording 2023. If you like hearing Dave rant and you like what you hear on the show today, give a like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5-star, Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth. Go look for us on the socials at Talking in Oval. So before we jump into this week's episode, last week we had one of my former athletes at Marist, Santos Krishnan. He is now a coach, and we had a really great episode. He's someone that ran through and, still suffers to this day of cystic fibrosis, but talked all about how he battled through it, how he uses, running and everything and use track to kind of make it, better. So he was fantastic to talk to, fantastic coach. And, we wish him the best, and he'll be back on again soon because he has a lot to say and we'd love to have him back. And we do at the jump. We actually have some PRs this week, Dave, and I'm happy about it.
Yes.
Our good buddy, Chris Tafalski over at Westfield, Group 4 state champs with a average of 16:01, which I don't know, Dave, that
5-man average.
5-man. So that, to me, that's stupid. I'm not going to lie. Because that's
second fastest average of the day behind one of our other former guests, Sean McCafferty at CBA, who averaged 15:51.
Dave, when you were running back when Roger Bannister was breaking 4 minutes, and when
not that old,
and when we were, but 16:01 was something you heard from the national championship team. That was an average then. Now, I just want to give a shout out to the whole top 5. So Avery Keith ran a 15:40, set a school record, and again, this is over at Homedale Park. Ryan
voted the hardest course in the country by Citius Mag.
Yes, Ryan Daly, 16:01, Jimmy Gildea, 16:01, Eamon Mason, 16:03, and Alex Valencia, 16:20. So they were not messing around. Congrats to Westfield, and congrats to our buddy South Brunswick over there getting a wild card. Only the best comes on Talking in Oval. So
Emma Zawatsky running 18 flat. They had her in 17:59 at Homedale handheld, but it ran up to 18 flat. Group 4 state champ, former guest on our show.
Yep.
I mean, this Meet of Champs this weekend is going to be absolutely electric. It's going to be crazy.
It certainly will. And one last little thing, notes-wise, before we get going, our good friend Adam Nalvin, his event, the River Rock and Roll Relay over in Bricktown, was a smashing success. Raised $4,500 for the Monmouth and Ocean County Food Bank. So thank you to everyone that participated. Awesome job, Adam. They'll be back again next year, and it will go back to charity again. So hopefully we get more people, and hopefully we can have our two guests on tonight who are, Jersey people, to come back and maybe run at this event so we can get some star power there. But, we've had repeat guests on before. We are pumped to have this repeat guest and his lovely second half coming on the show. We have Robby and Josette Andrews, the world's fastest married milers. What's going on, guys?
Oh, thank you so much for having us, guys. Well, thank you for having me back, and thank you for getting Josette on here. She's a lot more interesting than me, so I can't wait to hear what she has to say. But thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you, guys. We're excited to talk to you.
Absolutely, it's going to be our pleasure. And hopefully with this next segment, Josette doesn't reveal things that she's never told Robby, and we don't start any strife. I don't want this to happen. Maybe we should hold back here, but no,
we don't hold back.
So anyone that hasn't listened to Robby's episode, go back and listen to it. It was fantastic. But anyone that does listen to the show knows that we love to start our segments asking our guests when they got the spark to become a runner, when that really, when that moment happened that it was like, aha. Some people are like, I don't hate running. I'm really good at it. Other people just kind of get that. So, Josette, when was the time that you can remember when you finally flipped the switch and was like, you know what? I could do this for the rest of my life?
Okay. Well, first, I just want to give, I was also at the New York City Marathon, and my teammate, Helen O'Beary, won the women's race. So that was pretty epic. So I think I need to start out with a shout out to that and on, because they flew us all out, our entire OAC team. And I actually, even being from New Jersey, I'd never watched the New York City Marathon live or any marathon live. So it was pretty special to watch one. And my teammate ended up winning. So that was pretty epic.
That counts as epic, Josette.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. On running is the place to be.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, on fire. So, but getting back to your question about my spark for running, growing up, I always just loved being outside and playing sports. I was the person that would stay after school and stay long at recess and play kickball, off the wall, foursquare. I was always just playing sports. And something that was really cool at our elementary school actually was that my gym teacher, Mrs. Potts, she would do records on the wall. So you could get a record on the wall with your picture, and it was every single sport, whether it was track, basketball, sit-ups, jump rope, pretty much any sport you could think of, you could get a record for. So I wanted every record. So I was there doing backwards jump ropes and shooting basketball hoops, doing sit-ups, couldn't do any pull-ups. So I wasn't getting those records, but you were able to get running records. So when you were younger, it was the 400, and then it moved up to the 800. And then by fifth grade, you would run a mile. And I ended up at one point having 14 records on the wall. It was a record for the most records.
It's a really small school.
Yeah. I think I realized I was pretty quick when my times were as fast as the boys' running times. And they were a little scared to line up on race day. My elementary school was actually across the street from the track. So we would actually run it on a track, which was pretty
awesome.
Cool. Not just some dirt or grass, but I always loved playing sports, and I ended up joining my church OLMC track team and was running on that team while also doing basketball, soccer, softball, everything you can think of. And it just kind of kept evolving with the running. And I was very competitive and enjoyed racing and competing. And that's kind of when the spark for athletics really happened.
That's awesome. So basically just drive. That's all. It seems just pure drive to be great. And it's kind of
I want more records on that wall than anyone.
Yeah,
I don't
a lot
care.
more records, and and that kind of really gels with the sport of track because you could do team sports, you could be great in team sports, but there's always the what ifs in team sports, right? Like people debate like Jordan and LeBron, like what if Jordan didn't have Pippen? It's like okay, we don't care, but in like track, it's like you did it, you did the time. And no one could take that away from you. So I kind of gels with, I'm competitive. I want every record. So hey, Josette is going out there for every single American distance record.
So,
Go on it right now.
I dragged my friends out for the jump rope record. So we would do like a jump rope in a jump rope with
double
two other
dutch.
people
Yeah.
in a jump. Yep.
Right.
So it was anything we could make up.
I was making stuff up.
I was making up jump rope records.
So here's the question: have you gone back to your old school, and if someone else has broken your record, do you get really pissed off? Like, do you be like, hey, I'm going to go back now because I went to that school at some point, and I'm going to break that record again.
Actually, so our teachers had retired, but when she did retire, they had me come out when I was in high school and do a talk to the elementary school, and they handed me all my records. So I have the copies. They're at my mom's house, actually, in New Jersey. But it was really cool because they brought me back to speak to the elementary school, and it was her retirement party also. So that was really special. But yeah, so there's no more to be broken. Now I got to focus on the track records, professional records.
Yeah,
we moved up in the league.
You should see the record wall in our house.
Yeah.
It's like most laps. It's who sleeps in the latest. I've got that one. Josette has most trips to the refrigerator. It's a little more complicated now. Yeah.
Hey?
That's awesome. I could, you guys need to actually start that. If you don't have that, I'll be upset if you actually don't have a record wall. I'd feel lied to right now. So going with that spark, I want you, Josette, to take me up memory lane. I want you to go back to your time starting as a runner, then, getting into it really, and like whether you really started like middle school team, high school team, college, and now pros. What are some of your favorite memories of being a runner, starting from when you're younger and then all the way up to now? And, your story is very yet to be written. So give us some of your favorite memories in running.
Yeah. So the running with like the competitions really started with my old MC church team and like getting into the middle school running. And it was just really fun to come to practice. And honestly, it was hanging out with my friends at first. I mean, sometimes at one point, the coach, I remember, had a conversation with my mom because I was hanging out with the boys too much and we weren't actually doing our runs. We were just playing games, and it definitely was not serious in the beginning at all. And I had my friends that played soccer and basketball and all of that. So I was running around doing everything, but I always looked forward to like doing the town 5K, like the Tenafly 5K every year. Like that was a big circle the race, and we're going to do the town 5K and compete at that. And those are always some really fond memories. And one thing that was really sweet, actually, my one friend, Veronica, when I signed to go run in college, she found a video of me like getting an interview after the Tenafly 5K talking to someone. And I was like, yeah, one day I hope I can run in college and maybe get a scholarship, and then maybe I'll run professionally. And I said that as like, I don't even know what grade I was in. I think it was in middle school, but that was really cute that she brought that out for my signing announcement video. And that was really special to look back at, because that's definitely where like it all started in my town in Tenafly as a young girl, and just doing it because I loved being active and being outside.
That's awesome. So you had a lot of success throughout your career, high school, college, and everything. So what are some of your favorite memories? Because I like hearing these, because Dave often talks about, and we always find that people at like yours and Robby's level, well, you guys are elite level runners, you guys tend to remember like that great relay or that great, and like me and Dave, I'm looking at it going, if I like won a national championship or anything, I'd be like, I hate my team. I won a national championship. Like, but it's like the elite level athletes are like very much like, so what are some of your favorite memories of competing in high school, competing in college, both, at North Carolina and Georgetown?
I was coaching at Manchester when you were in high school. And I remember just watching, and like the coaches from other teams would be like, wow, look at that, like 440s every time. Like like you were just a special person to actually watch race every time. Like I remember at times be like, oh, I think we have one of our athletes in this race, but like it's just hard to like keep your eye off of like someone running that fast. So like kind of like Alex said, like when did you know that what is it like being the hunted for every single race in the high school level? Like what is that like? And like always have to be on your game, or was it like I don't have to be on, I'm still going to win, or did you always have that mentality and those great memories? So like how did
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite races, of course, in high school was winning the state meet of champions in the 441 in the 1600. Like that race is my favorite high school memory race. It's just pretty crazy that was also the year that I had transitioned and done indoor track for the first time. Like I was playing basketball before in the winter, and I remember that was going into my junior year. Like my goal, I remember I ran 5:09 as a freshman, 5:07 as a sophomore. And I was like pissed because I was like, why didn't I improve more from freshman to sophomore year? And I remember my coach
played
was like,
basketball.
You went and played basketball. You didn't touch your running shoes. And it's like, well, you weren't running. And I was like, oh yeah, that's true. And it was a really hard decision then junior year after a breakout cross country season, because I did my summer miles. I put in that work and had a great junior cross country season. And that was a really hard decision to be like, I'm going to stop playing basketball and go to indoor track and do that and be running full time, because all my best friends were on the basketball team. I was starting on the basketball team. Like it was a really big deal. And it made seriously all the difference. Because I remember my high school was like, let's break 5 in the mile. And then the first indoor relay that we did at the Armory, which was really cool. My first indoor race was at the Armory ever. I ended up running a 5-minute mile, just anchoring the DMR that we did. And I was like, oh, wow, that was my goal for the year. Like, I just did the first meet of the season, and it just kept going and going. It then went to a 4:48, 4:45, and then ended with the 4:41, that outdoor season, into the state meet of champs. And that was just incredible for me. And then going to outdoor nationals for the first time and finishing second and just like running bravely. I just always would take out the race and just run my splits. I think I even split that 4:41. I was like 70 point whatever. But it's every race I kind of just like went for it and did my thing. And yeah, it was amazing about the like progression of how it kind of happened. And it made that sacrifice of stopping basketball worth it. Cause I mean, it was like a really hard decision for me. Like there was a lot of tears around that decision. And after that junior year, I was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I want to be doing. And that's what ultimately allowed me to be able to run in college. So that was really special, that entire junior year season.
So it sounds like it was a harder choice for you to quit basketball than it was for Robby to, because you were like starting on the actual varsity team.
Starting point guard sophomore year.
Robby was on. He's like, I love basketball. He's like, I was kind of playing here and there.
Come on, man. I was only 5'5". Like,
Listen, I get it, Robby. I'm just like you. Like I get it.
My ceiling, I was really far from the ceiling, but I had no. Let's
just say I got called into the athletic department, and we had all the coaches there, me, my mom, and it was a big decision about like, are you really stopping basketball right now?
Well,
I think you made the proper choice.
I've never seen Josette play basketball.
We played one-on-one, and I rolled my ankle, and I was like, we're never doing this again.
Sorry. I destroyed Josette in one-on-one.
Horse.
So now it's horse. Oh, okay, yeah.
Listen, it was a competitive game of basketball. It doesn't matter what it was.
Okay, so I'm destroying Josette in the competitive game of any type of basketball, and magically her ankle rolls. And let's just say I could see her playing at college basketball. So it was because I knew I was going to play in college. So if I could have played in college, Josette
listen, Robby,
I don't think I'm playing college as much as I love basketball.
Robby was going to be an all-star rec basketball player at a D3 college if you wanted to be.
No.
It's funny. It's like every coach's fear for every other sport is if their athlete goes and runs track and all of a sudden realizes they're great at it. Because I feel like that happens so many times. Like you'll have like the football player and it's like, oh, they go and throw a shot. Oh, they just threw 40 feet. Oh shit, I just lost my football player because, like now they're like dedicating and they're doing so many other things. Like, so it's like, yeah, I feel like you're a basketball coach, but in high school, a good coach will say, hey, go do what you got to do. Like, if this is your passion, I'm not going to stop you. And it's funny because Dave knows this. I kind of went like a weird route, similar to yours, but I like started off playing football my freshman year, had a real good freshman season, ran 430 mile, 10 flat, 2 mile was good. Never really got much better. I kind of sucked the rest of my life, but
join the sucking club.
Was convinced to run XC, ran XC sophomore and junior year, got hurt both of those years. Junior year was pretty good. And then after junior year, I found out I needed ankle surgery after my senior year because it was like terrible. I had like a fracture for like 5 years. And I didn't know. And so at that point, I was just like, I'm going to go play football again because I don't want to do cross country and get hurt again. I played football again senior year, started varsity and everything, and then finished up running, ran at Marist. But it was kind of the opposite where I was like, I don't know how good I'm going to be at running anymore. I'm going to go do my passion again, where you were like, I'm about to be great at running. And obviously you made a much better choice than me because I'm hosting a podcast about running and you guys are still running. So that's awesome. So now I want to jump in college. So you have a great high school. You go to North Carolina and also Georgetown. So talk about your time in college.
Yeah, so I did 2 years at UNC and I ended up transferring to Georgetown and did 3 years there. And college was definitely a big transition, like going from high school to college. And at first I definitely struggled a little bit to like find my groove in the sport, and ultimately decided that my heart was just saying that I think I needed to change. Like by my sophomore year at UNC, I was like, I just feel like I'm not going to be able to reach my full potential here with my running. And that was really like, that is your life when you are a college athlete. Your sport is your life. As much as I loved UNC as a school, it was an absolutely incredible school. And I remember it was always my dream to go there, actually.
For basketball.
No. But
I mean, I wouldn't blame you. Basketball over there has got to be amazing going over there and watching those games.
a cool story. My one friend in high school, she had a softball tournament in Myrtle Beach, and I ended up going with her for the summer to just go for the week and watch her play softball and go to the beach and stuff. And her mom on the way stopped at Chapel Hill to show us the school. This was sophomore year. And I was like, man, like, this is really where I want to go. Like, bought all the shirts with my last name. Like, we saw everything. And I was like, this would be a dream. And it was really special then after junior year when going into senior year, that like became a reality, which is just so crazy. And I remember like talking about that. I was like, remember when you said you like wished you could go here? And we're like, yeah, that'll never happen. And then a year later, you are getting recruited to go there. So that was like a really full circle moment. But and I did look at Georgetown as well in high school and UVA where Robby went. But I was looking up and down the coast. But transferring to Georgetown ultimately was the best decision for me. And again, it was also a rocky transfer. Actually, when I got there, the coach who was going to be their coach, Mike, ended up leaving and going to NAU. So we were left without a coach. And Julie Cully actually ended up being the coach that took over Jersey.
Former guest. Former guest earlier, yeah.
On our show. Yep.
Yeah.
She speaks very, very highly of both of
yes.
You guys, yes.
I was upset. Also at the marathon, Chris was going for his 25th.
I know. He ran 3:04.
I know.
It was his first time that he didn't break in like 20-something years. Her husband, I was like, but he was super humble. He had a great post about it. He's like, it had to end at some point. So
I was trying to see that. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to cross paths with them. Didn't get that finish line ticket to get in the luxury finish line section, but she ended up being the coach that took over, and that was really special for me, having like a female coach who also was an Olympian in the 5K, and like she had done everything
from New Jersey.
Yeah, from New Jersey. I was like, man, like this is like can I think of a better mentor to have as a coach right now? No, but it took a few honestly, a few seasons to like really get going. And I had a few like fluke injuries, honestly, pretty bad ones actually, but random things that happened. But it was really my 5th year of college that I really was able to have that like foundational like consistency and have that breakthrough that I always thought I could do. And that was, I kept running that entire summer to be able to like run professionally after that. So that was really, it was a really hard like college journey, and it took me a while to really find my groove, especially coming from high school when you're heavily recruited as one of the top high school milers, and then like really struggling and like no one knew who I was in college. And I made my first NCAA track season as a 5th year. Like that, I thought it just wasn't the path that I thought was going to happen, but I never stopped believing in my abilities. I just needed the chance to really get to show it. And honestly, I wasn't able to do that till my 5th year. So it's just a very unique journey that I've had in the sport from all the waves in my journey. But I'm glad that I was able to have that breakout 5th year to let me pursue running professionally right now.
Yeah, it's funny because the first time that I met Julie Cully I was at Rutgers as well, and we were at like a track party, and like I had like a beer with her, and it was like, and then to see her journey kind of reminds me of like you know, like she got hurt a lot in college, and then she didn't have anywhere to go after college, so she actually went into coaching college, and then she couldn't find a coach, and she went with Centro, and then she went with Gagliano, and then she ended up winning the U.S. trials. So like I definitely see some similarities in your story, like to keep going and to have that perseverance and to keep fighting, knowing that like I have so much more left, and to have that self-belief is awesome. So hopefully she kind of instilled some of that with her story into you when you were with her.
Definitely, because even like as a 5th year, like it was really hard for me to like vocalize what I wanted to do anymore, because I felt like I was like so far away from the goals that I wanted to do, and like even to be able to like say what I wanted to do. So she and Coach Baker, who was my other coach, and even just my teammates, like having them there to talk about it was so important to vocalize that. And Robby, when we started dating, like him being there and like supporting me on my journey of running, like that was huge. And that was what I needed to really like get focused and have those people around me who really believed in me and also were vocalizing even my goals, even if I wasn't saying it, like they knew deep down what I wanted to do and what I was trying to achieve. So they all of them have played a role in being able to get me to then that next level.
Yeah, and it's also cool because like Robby was a teammate of Julie at the NJ.
Yeah. So
running club. It's just it's just this cool, unique circle.
And one of the things too, like that, like comes from like what you're saying and what Julia said in the past is like the greats, while the great runners don't quit, they also have great support systems, right? Because it's hard to do these things on your own, you know, like, especially with running. You go through, you know, as long as you two have been running and things like that, injuries happen. So it's like, and if you're on your own and you're trying to work out on your own, it's really discouraging to rehab and go back at it and try to get yourself to another level. And and just the fact that you have a great support system, like that's one of the things that we love doing on this show is kind of revealing the human side, because, you know, they see you running at the, you know, United States Championship races, and it's like, oh, Josette Andrews, this is her PRs, this is this, and that's all they know. They don't know what you've been through. And it was like, a young girl might watch you and be like, oh, she's inspiring, I bet she's always been good. And then they listen to this and it's like, I wasn't great until my 5th year. As you know, I was a really good high school runner, and 5th year college is when I truly figured it out. And so it's like, just to be able to bring that element is like something I think that's great for people to hear, that you don't have to do it all on your own. Have a great support system around you. Find people that are willing to sit there, and when you're ready to give up on your dreams, like, oh, hell no, you're going to go do it. Like kind of force you in a nice way, I guess, bully you to keep going in like the nicest way possible.
Definitely gave me some tough love. At times very tough. She'll admit it too, but it was all out of love from everybody and wanting and seeing what I was capable of and like wanting to bring that out and help me bring that out.
Yeah, something I would say is that, a fifth year in school is not always a given. Like, Josette had an unfortunate fourth year or her senior year. And it was like, kind of like, well, should I do it? And Coach Julie and Coach Baker were both like, absolutely, like, you have to come back. There's something in there. And we see something in you, like just watching you run. They're like you said, Dave, just watching Josette run, it's just mesmerizing. And like, you can just see it in her. And so I give a lot of credit to Coach Julie and Coach Baker for pushing her into that fifth year and believing in her to train for that year, because she didn't have a cross country season in her fifth year, so she was kind of on her own, which is ultimately what she needed. And then she came on great indoor and she came on great outdoor, and she hit her fun fact, she hit her peak mileage the week before the NCAA outdoor championship that season. That's how slowly Coach Baker and Coach Julie were bringing her along. Wow. And they were just super cautious with her. Yeah. But they figured out the formula. It's like, you've got this amazing talent and you got this girl she'll run for any record you put out there. So just keep her on the track. And that was the formula. And then Coach Fox followed the same formula, and Coach Dathan's following the same formula. And, we've got I'm sitting next to a superstar. So
how many of those coaches brought out the jump rope to bring you back, days from
Coach Baker, actually, when I was like coming back from my injury, he'd have me warm up with the jump rope just to get like the fast twitch muscles working again, because he was like, we gotta get you going back off.
Coach, I know all about this jump rope. I did it in elementary school. I am ready to go. I have the record on the wall.
Grabbed two teammates and was like, make this quicker. Just like, go quicker. I could do this more. I'm better.
Like jump in the rope, and I'm like, oh God, this is terrible. Trying to show off. Yeah, trying to show off, but not having it. And what was really cool about my fifth year was actually that was the year that the U.S. champs was pretty late, because the Doha World Championships wasn't until September. Yeah. So I kept running that entire summer and was able to keep competing and get better. And like, I ran PRs that summer late and made my first U.S. championship, and Julie came out with me, and so did Robby. And that was really special too, to be at my first U.S. championships and run it like one more time in my Georgetown uniform, and then ultimately sign with an agent, and then sign with Reebok as my first contract. So
go into that. So go ahead, Robby.
There's no timeline. It's everyone's timeline is so different, and you're absolutely right. I would say find your support system first, because if you have the proper support system, you're going to run your best. So it's kind of worth investing in that support system over a situation where you don't think you might think you're getting a better situation, but it's really not. And that's kind of what ended up working for Josette, because just kind of bet on yourself a little bit and like kind of invest in yourself. And I'd say that it doesn't matter if it happens your freshman year or your fifth year of college or even 5 years after college, it just, there's no timeline. But
so, now you're done with college, the decision to go pro, you decide to sign with Reebok, you're committing to go pro. And as we sit now, you're one of the best 1,500 meter runners in the country.
5K too.
To be the best, and 5K as well. One of the best in the country. And I think eventually going up, be right up there, one of the best in the world in both of those events. So, what was that like? What was it like jumping from college to pro? Because I'm always interested to hear different perspectives, because everyone's like, this isn't the easiest jump, going from having a team and now it's like you're a pro and your teammates are your competitors. It's like, so what was that jump like? And you went to Reebok and now you're over at On. What's been all that like so far?
Yeah, the craziest thing about the year that I signed pro is that it ended up being COVID year. So my first year as a pro felt really bizarre, because it didn't even feel like we were training. Like, I didn't feel like I had any pressure whatsoever. Yeah. And maybe that was like almost like too relaxed, because then when races started opening up and we're like, oh, let's go like jump into it. me and my teammates would agree, like we were all very unprepared for that. But
and like that was because they were so unsure of what was going on that
it was such a weird year.
It was kind of like, well, like take a breather. You have 15 months until the Olympic trials now. Like, let's take our breather. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you have 3 weeks until you race.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a result of the circumstance. It wasn't like training was going poorly. It just, it wasn't, they weren't totally firing on all cylinders.
Nobody know what they were allowed to do, right? Like kind of it was like, are we allowed to train in a group? Are we going to get arrested if we run as a pack in Central Park? Like what is like, we didn't know. Nobody knew. It's like, do we have to train with masks on? Are we going to breathe our own carbon like throughout a 5K? Like what? So I get it. That's such a weird circumstance. And I could imagine like you guys felt unprepared, but probably everyone kind of walked in there. It was like, all right, let's go run our college PRs. Let's see what we can do now. Like,
and I guess like I spent that whole year just trying to adjust to Coach Fox's training also, especially just feeling like I was pretty like underdeveloped in terms of like consistency. So what I really needed was like another consistent year under my belt while also adjusting to the pro lifestyle and the higher level of training and being with professional athletes, like working out with them. So everything was just elevated. And I really enjoyed like the lifestyle of being a professional runner. And I also had Robby. So we were doing the same thing. So that definitely made it easier on me, maybe compared to other people. But it was then having that 2020 and taking that into 2021 where really we like saw it click with Coach Fox and his training. And like I remember the first workout back that fall, like I was able to finally do one of his like Ridge Road, which is a very hilly tempo road in Charlottesville, Virginia. And I crushed it the first workout out and kind of just from there just kept building and building and building. And it ended up being a huge breakout season, 2021, where had a huge breakout in the 5K, ran sub 4 in the 1500, traveled to Europe for the first time, did the whole Diamond League tour, and ended up getting third in the Diamond League final that year. And that was just one of the most like memorable seasons so far I've ever had, honestly. And I know it was only 2 years ago, right? Yeah. But that was honestly incredible. And that was really special with Coach Fox, like really building me up as an athlete and like seeing that potential and helping me develop to a whole new runner as a professional. And now I feel like I've been with On for almost a year now. And just, I felt like I was ready for that next step, and like On and the OAC was that next step and that next move for me to keep improving and keep elevating in this sport.
Was that a tough decision?
Yeah,
to leave Reebok and then go over to On? And how much was it? Both of you sitting around the dinner table going, "Do I do it? Do I not?" So like, what was that? What was that thought process like?
Yeah, so I was with Reebok for 3 years, and then when my first contract was ending with them, I was looking around at other groups and like seeing what the situation was. And with Reebok, it was a little bit of a unique situation because they had gotten sold by Adidas to another brand. So we didn't really know the direction that Reebok also wanted to go with the company and the group as a whole. And it just made the most sense for me to go with more of a sure thing with the OAC and a new group. And the hardest part was like leaving Fox and like the foundation that we had started, because Coach Fox, like the more you're in the system, like the better you're going to get. And I didn't even feel like 3 years was like enough in his system, if that makes sense. Like, so that was really hard, like leaving Coach Fox, especially with how much he helped me grow as an athlete in that short period of time. But for my long-term development, it made the most sense. And it wasn't like a scary decision for me to go and make this move and be training at altitude and having Alicia Munson as my training partner. And it's just like
not
all
bad.
of it. Oh yeah.
Not bad at all.
It all made sense, and like the support that On was giving to the group and what they were doing with developing the shoes and the spikes. And that's when the whole the super shoes
Super
were starting
shoes,
to
yep.
come out.
Yeah.
So, and Reebok had decided not to go that direction with the super shoes. So seeing what like it made a lot of sense, and On was checking a lot of boxes. So,
Well, yeah, On focuses on the sport that you love. Like that is their main focus. That is main goal. Like, Reebok, even Nike, to an extent, like they have so many different branches of what they do, like On, Hoka, like those are companies that really focus on track and field and want to make everything better for the athletes that they sponsor and that they support. And plus you have someone like Coach Nathan Ritzenheim who like went through all this stuff himself, so he understands the struggle as an athlete, and he's been through it. So like, I mean, it just has to be amazing, and what he's doing there and what that brand is doing is absolutely amazing. So what is it like every day going to practice with Alicia Monsoon or Yurid Nagus running a 3:43 in the mile? Like what is that like to be working out with those people every single day? I mean,
did you just go up to him and like poke him when you last saw him? Like, are you real? Like after he did that, like I would just like go touch him and be like, are you a human? Like, what is going on here?
4:14 high school miler. Now he's running 3:43 going head to head with
Jakob
Ingebrigtsen. And it's like, hey, Ingebrigtsen said, follow me and you're on fast. And I said we did. And I thought he had him there, so, with 100 to go. But like, so what is it like being with those type of athletes every single day, knowing that everyone that you are training with is improving and getting better and faster? That has to be such a relief, like it has to give you a sense of I made the absolute right choice in what I'm doing.
And on top of that, real quick, you're one of them. So it's not like you're
absolutely.
just training with them. Like you are there. So it's not like, I know sometimes we have this out of body experience. Like, what am I doing here? Right. But it's like, you absolutely belong there. So don't like,
100%.
what is it like being there?
Thank you guys. Yeah. I mean, it's really special going to practice and being surrounded by the group of athletes that I'm surrounded by. Everyone, the energy is like incredible at practice, and Dathan has such good energy. And we just hired an assistant coach, Kelsey Quinn, and her energy is just electric at practice. And it's a really fun, welcoming group. And we meet 6 days a week, and we're together so much. Yeah, it's a lot different than even like with Reebok and just how much time we spend together. So I'm with them every single day, and we all know what we are doing, and we're all supporting each other. And we show up, the guys and the girls, and it's like a really incredible environment, and it's really special to be a part of. And it's exciting.
Yes, it doesn't look real when they're running. Like, if you're watching, you need to ask what pace they're running, because everything looks like the warm up. But it's so hard to explain to someone. Like watching Ollie, Yared, Mario, George, Joe, Morgan, Yon, watching them run 4:40 pace, you would literally think they're jogging. And then it's the same with the girls. Like watching Alicia and Josette run 5-minute pace, I'm like, there's no way they're doing this. And then Dathan's like 75, and I'm like, what are we watching? It's you're truly watching greatness. It's,
well, you know what I love is, like that's such a big change here in the States. We've had some older runners on who like they didn't have like they would have a coach, and but they would live home and they would follow their workouts. Like it's a destination. Like you are expected to be there, to move there, to train, and like that is your job. And I think that's and we are really seeing it now in the transition in the distance running here in the US, because like we are definitely competing at a much higher level, because we have the means and the tools now to finally do what other countries are doing. Focus on your craft. You don't have to have a job. This can be what you do. Like you said, you meet 6 days a week. Like that wasn't the case in the 90s or the early 2000s. I think it's absolutely wonderful that, that there's these other shoe companies that have formed that are making this happen, and that we are actually showing what America can do in terms of distance running. I think it's absolutely wonderful.
And Robby, quickly talk about your experience, because obviously you were pro before Josette was. You know, you still a pro, obviously. I think you're going to have a fantastic comeback. I'm still waiting on that, but it's happening. But so talk about your experience turning pro and having a training group as opposed to what you're seeing over at On.
Yeah. So Josette and I, our stories are so opposite. It's crazy. From college to professionally, we've had totally different experiences where Josette has been part of two amazing groups with absolutely incredible support.
Yeah.
Her teammates, her coaches, the
company, pouring money into it.
She's been part of two amazing groups, and I wasn't part of a shoe-based group, but Coach Vidge and I kind of formed our own group. And of course, I was with NJNY for the 1 year, and NJNY, that was before the Hoka was sponsoring them, and it was much more blue collar back then. I'm sure Julie's told you all about it. And
she made a point to say it was New Jersey first.
NJNY.
NJNY.
It was her. That's right.
And she made
and Aaron Donahue were like, no. We are from Jersey. It is Jersey first.
Haddonfield, yep.
And I think they designed the first shirts. It was Julie and her design. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's NJNY. That's right. And so I kind of hung around a college way longer. You know, I was a volunteer at Princeton for 7 years, and I brought a couple of my teammates from Virginia, then a couple Princeton grads stayed, and we recruited. I don't know how we recruited this kid, but he's from Davidson, and he was like a 152 guy, and Vidge just told him, yeah, just come up to New Jersey, you can live with the guys. We had no idea. He showed up to our doorstep and he said, hey, I'm Patrick, and we're like, okay. Who are you? He's like, oh, Vidge said I could stay with you guys. We were like, great, man, get on the couch. And he ended up being one of my best friends, or one of our best friends. And he got down to 147 too, you know, but we were just training. We were just dudes being dudes out in Princeton. And you know, Vidge was obviously coaching in college at that point, and so my dad was helping us a lot with workouts whenever Vidge was traveling for Princeton.
And you ran with the Princeton guys sometimes.
We did help with I did help with the Princeton guys a lot. You know, I did enjoy coaching them as well as training with them. But it's just different than when you're showing up to practice and Dathan is telling you like, okay, we're doing this today so that we can get ready for this next week and blah. And like it definitely wasn't a professional environment, but that doesn't mean it wasn't right for me. Look at Sam Prekel, you know, he's in a really similar situation, and I think he's PR'd every year since he's graduated. It's not to say that it's impossible to run well like that. It's just different.
Mm-hmm. And good runners can make multiple situations work.
Exactly.
If you put people in different scenarios, but it's just, now it's companies really want that group structure. So it's really coming from the companies trying to form that, and other athletes now are wanting to be part of that because you feel like you're part of something special. And
I will say it's probably easier to reach your potential when
I mean we're seeing it now, you know, like Bowerman Track Club was this big huge thing, and now there's a lot of people who are leaving because they want a coach who is coaching them as pros. It's hard, and it's nothing against Schumacher at all. He's a phenomenal coach, but you know, pro runners need someone who's going to focus on them. It's like, name me any other sport where you are sharing time with someone who coaches in college who's also coaching pros. Doesn't happen, and it's not that these aren't phenomenal coaches, just that these athletes to compete at the level that they want to compete at, you need someone who's there with you, ride or die, every day, who's going to do what's best for you. And I love that has been a huge change. And there's so many groups now and programs now, no matter what it is, who are only. I think it's beautiful.
You know, and I think that's got to be the model in the start, right? Because we've talked a lot of times here. We want to start seeing a thing where we have teams and we have, you know, Josette, we can have a league in the United States where it's like, hey, let's contract you for 6 races. Let's, you know, you compete at these 6 races for us, and we'll give you whatever, $60K this year, whatever, something, a guaranteed amount to like come and compete, which is something that I think we need. We need a promotion, but I think that's the first step, right? We have legitimate teams, and these teams are dedicated. They have a coach. There's someone there that they can go to and say, hey, we want to sign the on team for 6 races. The on team needs to be here outside of injury, but so we don't have all these, well, the training wasn't right, so we're dropping out of this race because we're not 100%. It's like, no, you're contracted to be here type of. So I think that's a big logical step. And a team like On, who's having a ton of success in showing that this model works. And, Robby, you were saying there's different things for different athletes. Sam is doing that, but I feel like if On keeps doing what they're doing, a Sam Perico is going to be an exception to the rule, right? Because it's the team aspect. People thrive there. Like Josette said, going and training with some of the best athletes on the planet every single day with direction, not just going and do it and going, we ran in college, let's go make our own workouts. Like, no, you have a coach there that's knowledgeable and is like, no, this is what you're doing. I don't care if you don't want to do it. This is the workout I designed. Go do it. And I feel like that's got to be the model. And I love what you guys are doing there. I love what Dathan's doing there at On. And it's showing that we need this in this sport.
Right, and now that
and things like that.
Like we were all on teams in high school and in college, and like that is an atmosphere where I feel almost all of us really like, because then like you're not only running for yourself, you're running for a purpose. You're running for your teammates. Like it's so hard when you're doing the daily grind by yourself every day. Now you're like, oh well, like I want to do this because I train with this person, and like it really motivates the individual more when they have a team be behind them. I mean, that's just my thoughts. I could be completely off base, like maybe as a pro, you're like, no, I don't care about anything else. I'm worried myself, but like just having that whole aspect of a team is just a beautiful, wonderful thing.
But yeah, Josette, speak to that. Does this feel more like that college atmosphere again, where you're training with teammates, and obviously it's pro, it's a next step, but like you have people that have your back, and it's not just so killer like as pros typically are?
Yeah, it's so funny. It definitely does not feel anything like college in that sense. How much more like professional it is. It's just so hard to even like compare the two.
But it's similar to college where like there's there's like the little groups. It's like he's got his distance guys, his less distance guys, his distance girls, and his less distance girls.
And we're like meeting to go out for a run, and we're talking and chatting, and like the runs are going by. Yeah. You do an 8-mile run and it goes by so fast because you're talking to your friends like you would in college. So it's really special and very like unique situation, like having a group like this at On, where you have so many like high level athletes training together, and we're on a team, but while also pursuing our individual goals. Mm-hmm. And what's great is that like everyone, of course, has their individual training, but we mesh so much and like can train together and do so much together, which is so special. And like being part of On, I've learned so much, like even in this past year. I wasn't lifting the last 3 years with Reebok, and now like lifting and just like learning so much, even from our PTs and my like new coaches, even my teammates. Like I just feel like I'm way more even like knowledgeable. And that's what I wanted. Like I wanted to keep growing, and I feel like I'm doing that here with On, and that's because of the structure that I'm around and like the team that I'm around.
So Josette, admit it real quick right here. When you have a teammate that's in the same event at you at the same meet, you're kind of just like a little added like, I'm going to beat you so I can brag later at practice. Is that kind of, that's got to be there. Like, I don't care if I win this meet or not. I'm going to make sure I beat you. So I practice and go, so you remember last week? You could beat my workout.
Boys are more like that compared to the girls. I will admit the boys get very competitive. And it's pretty funny to watch.
A lot of testosterone.
But, that's like that with the girls. But every race you're doing, you want to win. So you're warming up together, you're doing everything together. But like once the gun goes off, like you could be like working together in the race, but like at the end of the race, like you and Dathan is going to tell you the best plan for you to be successful in the race. So yeah, it's a unique situation for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So let's transition.
Is that it's we have so many like countries here. Like We were represented from the U.S., Australia, New Zealand, Spain, Italy, Switzerland, Helen,
Kenya.
Kenya.
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy. Like, we are a very international team, which is also like really special. And I think it also helps the dynamic of the team as well.
For sure.
So let's transition here. How does the fastest mile couple in the history of running, how do they meet? Like what's the story behind the beginning of the Robby and Josette Andrews story?
So we met at Georgetown. The first year I transferred there, so that was going into 2016, right? Yeah, the fall of 2016 is when I transferred there. And it was really cool. The fifth years on our team had like put together of like maybe every month someone would come and like talk to the team. And at first it was like some of the teammates, and then they would bring some people. And one of the guests was going to be Robby Andrews coming, and you can talk about how Sarah set it up.
Yeah, one of my best friends from college, his sister was on the Georgetown team, and she asked me if I'd come talk to the team, and like I would have done anything for her. So yeah, I was like, of course, I'll go and talk to the team. And so I'm talking to the team, and I'm kind of only looking at one person, and I'm just like laser beaming at Josette this whole time. I don't even realize it. And afterwards, I was so happy. She like stuck around a little bit. She was like asking, she was like talking about New Jersey and stuff, and like it was great. And then some of her guy teammates, who actually Amos Bertelsmeyer, who we went to their wedding a couple weeks ago. We went out to the bar, and I was like, dude, you gotta get Josette out here. And
they texted me.
He's like, well, one, she's 20, and two, she has a workout tomorrow. And I was like, oh my God, she's only 20. And so I'm like, all right, whatever. And then a few months go by, and then
you're back at Georgetown.
I'm back at Georgetown because we're going to meet Mr. Barack Obama with the U.S. team.
And what was really cool is that Georgetown actually put on a Team USA event on campus. Like, they rented out the entire building and had a ceremony for Team USA athletes. Yeah. So everyone was there at Georgetown, and which was really cool because we were all freaking out.
I'm sure Robby was very happy to go back there.
Yeah. Oh, I was pumped. And so we get Josette into the party somehow, and we're having.
We do not support illegal, illicit activities in college campuses at this show.
Yes, we do.
She wasn't part of Team USA, but she got into the party.
Listen,
a ticket to the event.
She got a ticket to the event. So
it's all fair game. Go for it.
Event, and everyone on the Georgetown team was like trying to get raffle tickets to try to get into the party. And I ended up getting in, and then Joe White.
And Joe White got in
Clayton
too.
brought in Joe.
I think Robby might have had some influence there about getting Joe.
A VIP like pointed a shot. He's like, that girl, she comes to the front line. Get her in.
And yeah, we and then it was just kind of like, well, what's happening here? Like, you're in college, I live in New Jersey, you're 20 years old, like, so we kind of like kept in contact for a few years, and then I guess it was like a year and a half later. Yeah, on like a whim, I'm like, what are you doing for New Year's? And like, are you coming up to New Jersey? And she was like, yeah. I was like, oh, cool. You coming down to Princeton? Like, kind of like jokingly flirting. And she was like, okay, sounds good. And I'm like, boys, we're canceling the night. We had plans to go out to Philly and stuff. I
remember like the night, like I was going to leave, and Robby's like, so are you like actually coming? And I was like, yes, like I am like determined to get to Princeton at this point. I already committed to this.
Oh my God. So we canceled our plans, and Josette came to Princeton, and she's 21 at this point. So
I'm older than that.
22. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm 22. Yeah. Wow.
And then so we had a great time at New Year's, and then a few months later, after Penn Relays, the day after Penn Relays is when I asked her to be my girlfriend. Also, the same day that she found out she had a femoral stress fracture.
Yes.
And then the rest of her fourth year was canceled.
Did you give her your old varsity jack and say, we are going steady? That's
it was more of a How you doing, baby?
So smooth. So smooth.
You know what I love? The fact that the creepy stare while talking could have went one of two ways and it went the best way. Like she could have either been like,
I'm not going
I'm idolizing this guy because he's a great runner, but he's really creepy. But it ended up working out in the end.
So Josette, like, did you know of the aura in New Jersey of Robby Andrews? Like, did you know like who he was? Like, high school national record holder in 1,000. Did any of that play a factor, or were you just like, this is just some guy who I think is a cute, or you're like, hey, this is a New Jersey legend. I'm from Jersey, like.
I just knew he was an Olympian from New Jersey, but I had no clue about like your past with the NCAA or any, like even in high school. Like, I didn't know.
She hadn't seen any of my races.
No, I had to, when we started dating, like, I went back and watched everything. Yeah. But I watched him at the Olympics. Like I remember watching him on the TV. Right. And when I was at UNC, you raced.
Yeah, that's right.
He did do a race at Raleigh, or it was at NC State, but it wasn't Raleigh relays. But and everyone was like, "Oh, Robby Andrews is there," and I'm like, "He's from New Jersey!" Like, and I like loved that you were from New Jersey.
Yeah, listen, so
Jersey people stick together.
That the woman who married Robby Andrews knew less about Robby Andrews than some old fat schluff like myself when she met him. All right.
But to be fair, she knows what my chicken parm is like. So I went to her stomach first. I haven't cooked for you.
Hey, that is the best way to a woman's heart is through their stomach.
I didn't go chicken parm. I went.
Oh,
go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We were all very excited. We're like, oh yeah, we're all going. Like the entire girls team showed up to hear Robby talk, and I thought he was very cute. But I remember my teammate Margie was like, I think he's only looking at you, and I was like, I feel like we're making good eye contact, but I don't really know. And it was just really funny because then nothing like developed after that because Robby went back to New Jersey. I was at Georgetown, but then our paths like just ran. Like he came back a few months later to meet the president. And then I ended up seeing you at USA's the next year because I was out in LA with my friend and we drove to watch the Georgetown boys at USA's, and Robby ran USA's and won USA's. So like I kept like seeing Robby around. And then after we spent New Year's and then he came to visit a few times, we started dating, and it's just it's really crazy how it all evolved. And it's just pretty convenient that we're both from New Jersey.
So was that like short hair, Robby, or was that like long hair, ponytail?
Short hair.
Yeah, it was clean.
Listen, man.
Very clean cut.
I guess sometimes you had like a little bit longer, but it was not your.
So it wasn't ponytail, Robby.
I want that ponytail back. That was legendary.
That was
the most polarizing haircut I've ever. It's either that where like you got to bring it back, or it's like I'll never talk to you again.
I was waiting for like man bun Robby, to like line up for one race, but we only got ponytail Robby.
I don't know. That was like the quintessential Robby. Like when that was the quintessential Robby Andrews was ponytail Robby just dusting everyone.
Which is funny that I got like when we started dating, like I feel like I got asked a lot about that, and I never even knew Robby had a man bun. Like I had to like go back and find this, which is I'm like, oh my god.
Listen. So Josette, would you approve of the man bun and ponytail coming back?
No.
Now let's come on. We need Jersey Shore, Seaside Heights Robby coming back with his man bun.
You would have had to do a really good first date to convince me.
You would have loved it.
So
we all loved it. Come on.
We did. So go ahead, Josette.
We went to the farmer's market, and then someone told Julie that Josette was hanging out with Robby Andrews.
Yeah, we got called out on.
We got called out on like one of our first dates.
And Julie was not happy that I was messing around with one of her girls. And I'm like, Julie, I don't know how to tell you this, but I already know she's the one. And I've known her for 2 months, but like this is happening. So Julie, I had to win Julie over even more than like Josette's mom. I had to win Julie.
That's like the hardest thing as a guy, though. It's like, no, I actually like her. Like, stop. Like, don't ruin this for me. I actually want to date her.
There's no foul play here. I like her. Yeah.
It was so funny though, because I remember I remember seeing it was Chris Katowski. He's an assistant at Washington right now. He was Centrowicz's assistant at American.
Okay.
And we were like, who the heck could have seen this? And I'm like, it was freaking Chris. and Julie was not happy, but then
he's like, I saw Josette with Robby Andrews.
But then she eventually figured out all I wanted was what was best for Josette, and I was all in on helping Josette be the best runner she could be and reaching her potential. And
it was after the race that you came to nationals with me, and that's when it was like Robby, Julie, and my mom.
We actually talked about that. She's like, I was not a fan at first, but he's a great guy, and I'm so happy.
Yeah.
She told me in the airport, she's like, okay, I'm sorry. I get it. Great together. And I was like, thank you.
And it wasn't like Josette was being coached by a male coach. It was a female coach. So you really have to win her over.
Yeah, man. But that's what a good coach does. She's protecting her group.
100%.
And
then she wanted me to copy Robby's lifestyle. She was like, yes, he has the professional lifestyle. That's what you need to be doing.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it was.
We made a great team.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I was coaching on All by Dave, I hated when my athletes were in relationships. I was like, don't do it. Because it's like, you get into a fight, you run like crap that day. It's like, just break up. Just stop. Just come run. Worry about that.
But it can go later. The other way, though. You get in a fight and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm pissed off. I'm going to run even faster.
The ring bump.
It could be. Does Robby plants he's like, all right, I'm going to do a nothing fight at this time here to get her ready and going. Because I know that if I do this here, she's going to run well.
Oh God!
If only I was that calculated.
But to me, it's cool being here in Jersey that you guys are a power couple in this sport, both from New Jersey, and it's it sounds like it didn't matter where Josette was from. Robby was just focusing on her. She just happened to be from Jersey. I still remember Robby's line when he was on our show last time. He's like, she was the cutie pie from Tenafly.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Can you tell them the back story for that?
What's it? Ron Spears. Do you guys know that name?
I've heard of him. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he was. I think he was an old Gags guy.
Was that Sir Walter?
It was down in Sir Walter.
Yeah.
It was. I think it might have been 2019. I wasn't running, because I was sick and Josette wasn't running, but my sister was running, and we were visiting my family in Pinehurst, and I just ran into Ron, who's a great guy, and he'd come to NJNY practices, and He's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, I'm here with my girlfriend, and we're watching my sister run. He's like, oh, well, who's your girlfriend? I'm like, oh, it's Josette from Tenafly. He's like, no way, you got a cutie pie from Tenafly.
Yeah, he's like, no, you know what they say, the cutie pie's from Tenafly.
It was so funny, and
I died.
I wish I could have coined that, but I stole it from Ron Spears.
So Josette, I am saying right now, whenever you get introduced, you need to start bringing, boxers have their stage, their nicknames. When you get introduced at meets, you need to be Josette, the cutie pie from Tenafly Andrews. Have them announce it that way.
Oh, I love it.
This is funny that this interview's right now too, because just the other day, we're coming up on my 10-year graduation from high school, and I'm gonna be inducted into the Tenafly Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
Next year. So my freshman cross country coach called me up and she let me know that that's going to happen next year. So that was really special to just reconnect with her. And I couldn't believe that 2024 is going to be 10 years from graduating high school. So hopefully I come back to Tenafly and coming back from Paris, hopefully. So that it's just really special and funny how it feels full circle and how we're talking about New Jersey and everything. So
are you being inducted for your running career or for the 14 records that you have on the wall from elementary school? I mean, it's
purely high school.
It's kind of a tough thing.
High school records. We didn't get into
and it kind of hurts me when it's you're talking about 10 years.
So you don't know.
It hurts me when you're 10 years. It's I've been removed a lot longer than 10 years.
Jeez.
Oh man.
So all right, I have a question for Robby, and it's kind of a little change of pace. How are you feeling what is your future in running? Are you focusing more now on coaching, or like are you coming back? Like, how do you feel? How's your health, and what is your situation?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. Yeah, it was a rough spring summer for me. So when we moved here, I was really excited to get to altitude because one, we both respond really well to altitude, and two, I was like, I wasn't sure what my running was going to look like, but with Josette having a lot of teammates and a lot of support, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to focus on my running, and I ended up, of course, falling back into, well, I'm just going to keep helping Josette. So I was helping pace Josette and Alicia for some of their workouts in the winter, and then come the spring, I started doing some of my own training, and then my planner kind of blew up on me, and then a few months after that, my Achilles blew up on me. So the summer was pretty rough. It wasn't great. But now it's been about 5 weeks now, ever since I went to the Diamond League in China with Josette. So who knew I needed to fly to China to get my Achilles
Oh my
better.
gosh.
So since then, my Achilles and planner have been feeling great, and I'm back up to I think I got 52 miles last week with
Nice.
some good running and some good sprints and some good strides and stuff. So my running's coming along. I don't know what it's going to look like for the rest of the year. I'm kind of just enjoying being pain free right now. I'm by no means calling this a retirement post, but it's if I'm kind of cautiously optimistic about continuing to train at like an Olympic trials type level. I'd love to make one more trials. It crushed me not being there in 2021. So I'm kind of cautiously optimistic about putting a really good effort towards this summer. But yes, I am coaching. I'm coaching the Boulder Mountain Warriors out here in Boulder with Melody Fairchild. I'm coaching Dathan's son Jude, who had a monster 2-mile tonight. I forget what he ran, but he was running kind of with the big boys. And Kara and Adam Goucher's son Colt is on the team, and
Dathan also paced the boys
middle school
mile.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I think they ran
His goal was he didn't know if they wanted 5 minutes or 5:10, but he's like, I can do it. And Nathan was out on the Niwot track pacing middle school today because he's like,
awesome.
I think they asked I think they reached out and said like, will any of your athletes pace the boys? And Nathan's like, I'll do it.
Love it.
He's like, my athletes will rest. I'll take it for them.
He truly never runs out of energy. Yeah, and Sarah Vaughn's middle daughter Kalia is on the team, so it's really cool seeing a whole bunch of the Boulder or the CU alums and their kids in the running community, and they're trusting Melody with their kids and their training. So we're having fun with that, and I'm actually coaching the OAC photographer, Colin Wong. He's only 20, but he's so he didn't really get a college experience with his running because he came out here to be a photographer. So I've been coaching him, and we've been having a blast. He's running a 5K December 2nd
at BU,
and he's going for a big sub 15. So
hey, if he's running in a BU, he might run sub 14 on that track.
That's what I'm trying to tell him. But he's
that track makes you fast.
It's unbelievable. So I think someone else might be running a 5K at BU this winter. We'll see how that goes for her. But yeah, so I'm enjoying the coaching side. I'm really enjoying kind of just being pain free when I'm running, and kind of doing stuff at my own speed right now, and yeah, it's kind of a different type of running right now where I'm not trying to run 3:43 in the mile. I'm just enjoying watching Yara do it, but at the same time, yeah, right. At the same time, I'm enjoying seeing where I'm at this stage in my life at this amount of health and etc. So it's been a lot of fun being healthy. Being injured was pretty rough, but I was having so much fun following Josette's summer and all her teammates' races this summer. It's just it's kind of a fun. Different time in my running, but at the same time, I love going to the track and running fast and feeling good. So we'll see how it progresses. But yeah, I'm kind of cautiously optimistic right now.
See, but what I love is you were hurt, but you didn't let that interfere with what your wife was doing. Cause I feel like that has to be really, really hard. Like I'm a 2-time or, I've been in the Olympics multiple times and I can't do it, but I'm going to give everything I have to my wife. I'm not sure that every person would take that approach, or some people might have well, I should be out there too. I'm happy for you, but like I can't do this. So I think it's extremely commendable that you were like, hey, I can't do it now. I'm all in for you. I'm going to go with every meet to you. And that's just a beautiful thing, because I don't know if I was at that level and tried to have that pro mind frame, if I could, take a step back and do what was best for my partner. And I think that's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you listeners at home right now, you can't see Josette's smile, but she's got a smile that'll make you do just about anything. No, I think something about that. It's I don't know. I have such an appreciation for how lucky I got. And it was my from 2015 to 2017, like looking back on that, I'm so happy with my running and how it went, that all I want is for the person I love the most in this world to have happiness like that. And she's already had a better 3 years than I've had in that stretch. But it's just great to see her continue to pursue her dreams and see how far she can go with this amazing support that she's been getting. And I'm just happy to be a very small part of that.
We still believe in you here. And I think as long as you could stay healthy, you can make one more good run at it. And, but to just sum up what Robby was saying, though, getting old kind of sucks, right? It does, because the training, it's not the same, right? Getting back into it, it's a little tougher, and it's and I feel for you, because I stopped a lot sooner at being trying to do anything like running 5Ks and stuff, but it's it does get hard as the injuries pile up. But I do think your talent level just will get you there, because you have a ton of talent. So as long as you could stay healthy, I'm thinking we'll definitely see you at trials. I'm calling that. Healthy Robby's at trials.
Means a lot to hear that. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
So to bring it back quick, to this wonderful state that we are all from. What do you guys think now of these high school athletes and just how incredibly fast they're running? Do you think it's because they have better training? Do you think it's the shoes? What do you attribute to, just how fast, when I was in school, granted, this was back in the mid 90s, Meet a Chance was won by the boys, 420, you were top 2 or 3. Now you run 420, you're maybe in the third heat. What do you attribute?
You're not getting past groups at 420. You're losing in groups. Right.
So what do you guys think that this is the reason why everything's so fast?
Well, first off, I got to say we mentioned the Group 4 team winners in Westfield. We have to bring up the Group 4 individual winner, Stephen Cavellos, out of Manalapan. That's I think he's only
like first and third, or first and fourth in that race.
Sophomore, Stephen Clay, 1549.
I love that you still know that. That's incredible.
My dad's still helping out with Manalapan. He's very enthusiastic, and they've had an incredible year. But yeah, Cavellos for winning the Group 4 title. That hasn't happened much at Manalapan. But what I'll say is, I feel like coaches have so much information available to them that I feel like the coaching has just gotten so elevated over the years, and coaches are making less mistakes, is how I like to phrase it, where it's because it's easy to train hard. It's really easy to overtrain. And so I think coaches are just getting smarter about how to recruit. And yes, the shoes play a role in that. But I just think the coaches are I don't want to say they're paying attention more, but I just feel like they have a routine that's kind of been tried and true. What do you think, Josette?
I think it's just a combination of a lot of things. One, smarter training, better recovery, faster shoes, and maybe younger athletes. Also, there's social media is way more of a bigger thing. They can follow pro runners.
Strava.
Even just having people to look up to and inspirations and talk to. I feel like that wasn't much of a thing back in the day to be able to do that. So I think it's just like so much access to so many tools.
Yeah.
So it's the combination of all of that together.
And you know, as an old crotchety man who ran at Homedale in the 1990s, that course is so much smoother now. Like there's no more roots. There's no more, there's no more. I'm just kidding now, but like, it's crazy. But I do think the influx, and I'm surprised now when I hear how many kids who might come from smaller schools aren't even training with their high school coaches. They're getting outside coaching, which I don't love. Like I think you should kind of go with where you are, but like there's so many things. Like there's kids who are getting people coach them who live in California, who live in New Jersey now. So there's such an influx because of all this technology that it's such an easier way to get great coaching from anybody.
Exactly.
Which is why I love those high school coaches who are doing it right, keeping with their teams and understanding like you don't have to run hard every day. You need rest and your body needs to recover.
Mm-hmm. And, and hopefully this groundswell and, faster times and everything will make the sport more popular at the young ages so it can bubble up. So before we jump out of here, I'm going to ask you, Josette, the same question that we asked Robby on his episode to end out the show. You're a pro right now. And one of the things that we like to try to do here is try to figure out a way to get more casual people involved in this sport, because the casual fans will drive up more meets, will drive up more revenue, will ultimately get pros like you and a lot of other pros paid a lot more money to the point where you and Robby should have to want for nothing, especially after Robby's career and how he represented the United States and what you've been doing the last few years. You guys should be living on easy street, but track pros, unless you're a select few, don't. That's just the reality of it. So if you could sit there, if you had a magic wand and you could flick your wrist and you can try and fix this sport in order to make more casuals enjoy it and get pros paid the proper money, what would you do?
Yeah, well, that's like one of the bigger things, even like groups are trying to figure out, like even at our summit the other week when On flew out everybody from the company, from like marketing, footwear, apparel, the athletes, how do we make this sport more popular? And like, that's why this past year we put on like the On Track Night series, which was supposed to be like a series one in LA, one in Paris, one in Vienna, like having a series where then also you have the beer garden, the food trucks, you have a concert, getting people excited and putting the marketing into it and the money into it to make it a fun experience for people, but then also making it in a way where it's easier to follow and go along with. And like the goal of that is to have it keep evolving into a track series type situation, or where you see with like the Diamond League series where you're getting athletes to go to these races. And that's one of the biggest things, is like getting it more easy for people to follow and be a fan, like how it is with football. Like, when the games are going to be the night.
Exactly.
Like, when are the Diamond Leagues going to be? What athletes are going to be there? It's hard with running where things sometimes do come up last minute and people do drop out, and that's a turn off for some people. But having a way where it's like a consistent thing and like getting these like really good head to heads at the same races. So I think it's going to have to be like the athletes and the companies and the meets like really working together to make it a cohesive system where we can have these track series that get people excited, and you're having the same athletes racing each other, and maybe there's a grand prize at the end, like you were talking about, like doing those series. But it's definitely something that us as professionals really want to, like the athletes really want our sport to be more popular and to bring more money and get people excited. And it's what the companies are trying to figure out what the best way is. On's trying to do their small part about doing these On Track Night series and like getting us involved and going and like doing like a red carpet walkout where like you can meet the fans in the beginning. Like you saw the Noah Lyles Peacock series. That's going to be huge for our sport. And Netflix was following around some sprinters at the here. I was trying to get in the background, like, hey, that's going to be huge. Like the exposure through the sprints, especially, I think that's going to be
absolutely
a big thing. And just like getting that new network. Like I absolutely loved watching that Noah Lyles series on Peacock. I'm hoping other fans were able to see that and see what he's doing. And even, all of that together, like trying to make this sport more popular.
But I also think like having it on Peacock though, like it has to be paid for. Like we need to find something that's accessible for everyone. Like you're just channel surfing and tracks on.
Here's the on meet. Oh, the on circuit's on. Let me throw it on.
And have like shorter meets, like have like an hour and a half window of just finals where everything's fast and everything's just explosive, so that you don't lose the interest of the watcher who, like, I don't mind watching that stuff, but the casual person be like or like have an announcer like compare it to everyday layman's things, like Mondo de Duplantis is jumping over a 3-story house.
Yeah,
like make it so that people can understand. Like Ryan Krauser is throwing a 16-pound bowling ball
25 yards.
7 feet.
Yeah,
understand and also have easier access to it to really even get a following to it. But
Josette will start dating Taylor Swift. If that will help.
Listen,
okay? She'll do it. I know she will.
I mean, I'll start dating Taylor Swift if it will help me.
I'll date Harry Styles if I have to. Like, I don't care. Like,
Harry Styles does wear dresses and like those long coats, though. So here's one thing that if On does have a meeting that some of our past guests that we've talked to, Sarah Slattery and Eric Sawinski, brought up. Sarah Slattery, I think, brought up one that I think we should take as a sport: gambling.
FanDuel.
If they wanted to bring DraftKings or FanDuel in to promote these, because if they get in, they're going to promote these meets, right? If they can get in and there's an on circuit and it's like DraftKings or FanDuel, jump in with us and here's all the athletes that are going to come. Start doing odds based on their past races. I think if you get gambling involved, you'll get a lot more people in. And then on top of that, Eric Sawinski, the world's greatest pacer, he said, what would make it easier for him to just go and make a living, getting a lot of small sponsors and allowing them on the back of their singlets, keeping the front clean. But, a lot of times these big things, like, if Nike's doing something, On's doing something, Hoka, they don't want other sponsors. They want them. But like something like that would help the athlete and have other athletes want to come, right? If they say, okay, you could throw 6 sponsors on the back of your jersey that you guys get. Front has to say whatever, has to say what we want. But on the back, you can go get a $2,000, $5,000, $6,000. You know what I mean? Which I think could get, athletes of your caliber could go around and get a few of those, right? So it's like, I feel like if those are possible suggestions, like gambling, and allow athletes to have a certain number of sponsors on the back of their singlets, a certain size, and there we go, so that they're getting exposure, they're making more money, and it won't be on to pay everybody that's there completely. They can get paid, get over there. So those are suggestions from Talking in Ovals from Sarah Slattery and Eric Sawinski, if you want to give them the credit. So that's just our 2 cents here.
Thank you.
So, but all right, Josette, Robby, thank you guys so much for coming on. This was awesome.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys. You guys are a pleasure as always. We love hearing about New Jersey. Love repping New Jersey. Thanks for making us proud, and we can't wait to talk to you. Hopefully, maybe let's circle back in like 11 months from now. I know. Hopefully, we have a lot of exciting stuff to talk about.
I'm cool with that. Listen, you guys are welcome whenever you want. Even if you want to text us and like bump your guest, it will be like, okay, we'll do it. But no, this was lots of fun. We went a little longer, but we have 2 elites, so we can't end this short into our normal time. But once again, that's Robby and Josette Andrews. They are the world's fastest married milers. If anybody wants to be coached, if you're in the Colorado area or further, Zoom exists. That's how we're doing this. Please email randrewscoaching@gmail.com. You can get in touch there. Robby and Josette are extremely accessible. They are not like your, big time athletes. Like, they're awesome. They will talk to everybody. So email if you're interested. And also, Josette, there is a code for Coros GPS watches. What is that?
Yeah, you just have to put code Josette at checkout and you'll be able to get a free accessory with your watch, so you can customize the band or get some other fun accessories like a hat or a t-shirt or water bottle. But I love the Coros watch, and it's been I've been wearing the Koros Pace 3. That's the newest release one. So I'm a big fan of the Pace 3 right now. And I was wearing the Pace 2 all last year. So big fan, and it's really reliable, and it's been helping me achieve my goals on the roads and track. So yeah.
Yep. So go to Koros.com. And then when you check out Josette, Josettee, right? Is that correct? All right.
Perfect.
You want to spell it right. So spell that in there and you will get the free strap. So 100% go do that. Support Koros and support Josette and the Andrews. Once again, we are talking in ovals. Dave, do you have anything to say before we hop out of here?
I'm just in awe that we have so many tremendous athletes from the state of New Jersey representing this wonderful country that we have. I mean, these are just two prime examples of the talent that comes from this little small state on the East Coast. It's beautiful, and it's an honor to have the world's fastest married milers on.
You guys got to coin that. Honestly,
yes. I mean,
Dave, we are gonna send you guys shirts, but there's gonna be talking in ovals on the back. But we're gonna send you guys shirts, and at a meet, I want you guys to get permission, like, to wear that as a warm up. Just like walk like on like camera at like a big meet with those shirts on. It would make noise. Just throwing that out there.
No problem. I'm going to keep bringing down our average. So get ready. I gotta get under the porch.
I think Robby's got to start stepping up now to drop the average.
We're gonna bring it way down.
These super shoes got to help me, man. I gotta help us. But Josette's kind of.
I got 5 more seconds in me. Don't worry.
I love it. I love it. So once again, we are talking in ovals. If you like what you heard, give a like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars. Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth. Go find us on the socials at Talking in Ovals. We will be back again next week, as always, with another exciting guest. Everybody, thanks for listening. So long.